Rolling.
What's up, you guys? Good morning! Or so! Sanju always tell, Moon Man, so I always like, Nat, do you ever realize how many times you say so in a sentence? I'm like, no. So, what are you doing today? Alright, you guys, so... See, literally, I just said it, I didn't even realize. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about... Oh my gosh. See, I was just about to say it again. Yeah, okay. Today on this episode, we will be talking about careers. Dun, 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 dun.
In my head, I'm like, what's the right word? And then you started it, I'm like, okay. She got it.
No, but like seriously, so I guess like I always grew up in like a business setting sort of thing.
Your
my
family.
Parents, yeah, like my parents always had their own business. Their last business that they had, they ran it for around 26, 27 years. And I guess, and the thing is that my parents had their business at home, so I was always around that.
You're a witness to it.
Yeah, so I would see my mom like answering the phone at like 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But always in that environment.
How was that for you growing up?
I'm gonna be honest. It was an advantage but a disadvantage at the same time.
Got it.
It was an advantage because I feel like I always say the same thing, that I feel like I had to grow up really quick.
Yep.
I'm not gonna get emotional.
If you do, I got you. Here's a shoulder.
I feel like I had to grow up quick, and the thing is that with my parents and like the business that they had, they were kind of in the limelight, and with my parents, they always reassured me and made sure that I had to present myself in a certain way.
Got it.
Because of, reputation, because of that.
That could put a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and like I'm like, like in like a kid in elementary school having like other like my other friends or kids telling me like, oh, like, you have this, you have that because your parents and blah blah blah, but like
At a kid, you don't really know anything about that stuff.
No, and like my parents worked hard for what they had. Like my dad came here with like $500, like
nothing
to Canada, lived here, worked, and came here for like 6-7 months before my mom even came here with her 2 kids, with my brother and my sister. So it's like, for me, it's like I've always been around that, and I always saw myself to be that businesswoman powerhouse. I believe it wholeheartedly in my heart that I know 100% that I'm going to get there. It's amazing that I was exposed to that at an early age, because I have that drive and I guess that grind or that hustle in me to
get what you need done.
And like for me, more than anything, is to do something impactful. Even when I think about it, like, why do I work where I work? Like, why do I work at G&L, for example? If I really think about it, I can work at any marketing agency.
You could.
But the thing is
you hear that, Moon Man?
But for me, it's about keeping in line with like your values and your culture, and that's my thing. For me, like growing up, it's like when you're talking about like advantage and disadvantage.
Yep.
It was disadvantage because like it's almost as if I couldn't really be a kid, but I was
at the same time. It's confusing.
Yeah, it is. I had so much responsibility being like
the prim and proper daughter.
100%, and I think it's more than anything, it's like, my older brother worked with my parents, and they like did their business together. And the thing is that my sister and my brother are deaf, so it's like I had to be the rock of the family, where
if something's wrong, you go to Natalia for it and you mend everything.
100%. So it's like I still carry that on with me now. So it's like when I think about it, like, and why I even got into like, so because like, in total honesty, it's funny enough, like when we first started university, both of us were undecided majors.
Yes, we did. That's how we knew each other.
Yeah, like we did, because we were in the same college, like in the same like
unit in New York.
Yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Literally, like at one point I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a defense lawyer. At one point I wanted to get into politics.
Well, there's so many avenues.
Yeah, it's like I didn't. I felt like I never found like my niche, I guess,
going into university.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like, I took like all these other courses, and I took I think it was marketing 2200 or something like that. I don't even remember the first like marketing course I took or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I fell in love with it. The reason why I liked being like going into like that lawyer space is because you have to talk to people, talk to clients, develop your case, do a strategy. I like debating. Like I like.
It's a Nat thing.
Pick
a topic, you'll lose. You'll not win.
I love that, but it's like that was my thing. Like for me, if I have to convince
you, have the fire.
Like if I have to convince you, like bring it on. Like tell me, like I
Game
want
plan.
to.
Let's
go. Yeah. So it's like
candy or chocolate then?
Chocolate. Girl,
okay, that's not even a debate.
No,
I was the same way.
Like candy, no.
Ew.
Like if you're telling me you have like a Mars bar and like a lollipop,
give me the Mars bar.
Give me the Mars bar. Like candy, like I don't even care for. I've always been in that realm. Mm-hmm. So it's like going into like marketing stuff. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with social and everything.
Do you think your culture had an influence?
That's a really good question. I think it did because my mom and my dad always pictured me in being in that corporate lifestyle. And to this day, my mom and dad still think that. They say, like, why aren't you at, like, you know, like a big company or like a Fortune 500 company and doing things
One
like
of
that.
500 people.
That's what I'm saying. But, like, for me, in my sense, it's like, I won't have the access, like...
Or the opportunity.
The direct access that I have with clients and the people that I can meet in the circle that I'm in, I can't find that anywhere else.
No, because big corporations, they keep you where they need you because it helps them.
Exactly.
And they don't think about helping you build.
Of course.
And you're in a company that wants to see you go further and succeed and grow.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I found myself in social media.
Yeah.
Because like
of course you blossomed. Like, and I've seen the transition.
Wow, you're gonna get all red and shit.
Good. It's amazing.
But it's like the whole reason why I even started it in the first place was because of my brother. Yeah. So my brother, he's the kind of person that always needed a push in his life, and that's perfectly fine. Not everyone can be that drive. Mm-hmm. Some people have the big idea but don't know what to do with it, sort of thing. So it's like in me, I saw my brother as an opportunity, and it's kind of maybe bad to think of it that way, but in my head it's like because of like the deaf culture and how they are, I feel like deaf people are so hesitant to go for their dreams just because they're deaf. Yeah. So in my head with my brother, like I feel like my brother didn't know what his niche was either. He started getting into like doing like speeches and motivational speaking and things like that. And like one day it just like clocked in my head, like, why don't you do this for a living? Yeah. And the thing is that, funny enough, that's when I started getting into like my personal social. Like it wasn't really, it was just me.
You weren't really active at first. No. And then you kind of just skyrocketed.
At all. So it's like, to this day, like I remember that first Instagram live video that I did. Honestly, I cringed. Guys.
Who didn't help me? Who didn't stop me? Where are my friends?
My goodness.
It's like those pictures you see of you in elementary school and you're like,
didn't anybody tell me that I shouldn't have worn
like, I thought I was hot. What happened?
Yeah, like literally, like, did my friends not love me? Like, I watched my Instagram live, guys. I was cringing. It was so awkward as everything, and now it's like I feel so much more comfortable.
It's fluid.
Yeah.
Well, you got me on it. I learned my ABCs. So
I got that. So it's like I feel like that was the push. So funny enough, it wasn't even because I did social for me. I did it for my brother. Yeah. And then
you found yourself through it.
Yeah, like I fell in love with it, and I know that where I am now is where I need to be. Like social media and doing like Instagram, Facebook, like people don't really realize how much work is behind that. Yeah. There's a whole science behind like just a simple post. Like it's not even about the post. It's not even about the picture.
It doesn't take 30 seconds. It takes hours.
Yeah, like doing all like the research behind it and trying to figure out like how to because I think it's like I not only have to think about my client, I have to think about me as a consumer, and I have to like
step out.
Yes,
and look
100%. That's exactly what it is. So it's like I've always been like, even in like high school or university, it was literally just work, like do my work and like get the scholarship that I need to do, get my essays done. It's like literally like I'm always working sort of thing. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to find that balance between having that personal life, and I think more than anything, it's just making sure that you can sustain that motivation throughout.
Of course.
So it's like, I know like
there's ups and downs throughout it. Sometimes you feel like, why am I even doing this? Am I even going anywhere? Yeah. And you have self-doubt. But that's along the process. It happens.
Yeah. And I feel like that's another reason why we have kind of had that connection
since day one.
No, but like seriously, because you understand like what it takes to be in that. Yeah. A lot of people want to get there, but they don't want to do the work to do there.
It's like, let me just take the elevator. Like, no, the back burner to things is you're going to have people that are going to stomp on you. You're going to have people that are going to put doubt in your head because they don't want to see you get to where you want to be. They want they might have good intentions for you, some people, even close people, like family especially, but in the back of their head, they're sending negative vibes and they don't even know it subconsciously. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's the thing, like, it's like they place their fears on you. So it's like, even to this day, like, my parents, you know, still do that. Like, they'll still, like,
you need a better job. You need to do this. Why aren't you doing this? Like, you can do so much more. Your potential's greater. And what they don't realize is that's what you're working towards.
Let me tell you something right now. I don't care. I'm not going to swear.
You stopped yourself.
I stopped myself. I've been working on that. I don't care what your parents think, what your friends think. If you yourself know that what you're doing has a purpose, nothing should ever stop you. Nobody's opinion, the culture that we live in, other people, nothing. And
it's hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Finding that, like, group where you can have people that support that.
Especially now in 2020, like, even find the support with your family. Like, not everybody's going to see things the way you see it. Yeah. Right? And people are going to have a difference of opinion. But the thing I think you need to grasp on is, what do you feel? And ultimately, what's going to bring you happiness, right? You have to be selfish in that sense. Like, for a long time, I don't know about you, but I was always doing things for other people. Let me help you. I have you. And I lost myself for a long time. And until I reined back and figured out, okay, like, no, it's time to be selfish. And explaining that to people who always had me there and always leaned on me, it made me lose relationships. Yeah. And made me grow and push. And some people understood and some people didn't. And still going through that process now. Yeah. Like, there's one friend that's like, you know, I need you there to answer and da-da-da, and you need to message me. I'm like, no, I don't need to. When you want me to. Don't get it mistaken. Like, if you need me, I'm there. Yeah. Call me, anything. I'll drop everything. But the fact that I have to message you every day, it's not that type of relationship. Yeah. Yeah. It's different. And when you surround yourself with like-minded people, they understand that I don't need to talk to you every day. As long as I know you're good, we're good, we keep it moving, and business is flowing. And you just build on top of there.
There's always one thing that I always admired about you. And I've told you this before. And, like, the fact that, like, we're very similar. But, for example, in university, for example, it was different circumstances. And we were literally talking about this last night. That's crazy.
We were talking about
So we were talking about the fact that, like, I'm blessed to have, like, my parents who helped me, like, pay for my school and, like, make sure that, like, I didn't have to work to pay for my school. Because my parents wanted me to focus on my studies. Yeah. And that's literally what I did. So it's like I saw the perspective where it's